Hey guys, I'm laying in my bed and I'm holding my phone up with my arm and it's already shaking. I hope it's not too bad, but I'm not feeling well and it'll probably make more sense as I continue my story, but it's not like something that I think I'll feel better about or just start to feel better in general. By the time I have to upload a video, well, not have to, but I want to. And so I can do it. I don't know. I'm just trying to provide myself some self-care by letting myself do this while I'm laying down. I don't want to say this, but I was just telling someone today that a big part of getting help or getting better is admitting that something is wrong, becoming aware that something is wrong, that you could use some help. And that can be hard to admit, especially hard for some people to admit. But it's necessary, because if you don't want something, you're not going to work for it. You're not going to have that motivation to get better, to put that time in, to put that work in. So it's a very important step, acknowledging that you do need some help, whatever kind of help. It doesn't have to be mental. It can be physical help, financial help, any type of help that you might need. But what my problem is that I don't really want to say is that I think I need to go back to therapy. And the reason why that's hard for me to say is because I don't even think it's been 2 years since I ended therapy. At the most, it'll be 2 years. But I'm pretty sure it's been like a year, maybe a year and a half. And when I ended therapy, it wasn't supposed to end yet. It was just a matter of insurance. My insurance changed and my therapist didn't take my insurance. I can't pay for therapy with no insurance. So I had to end therapy with that therapist. I could have obviously gotten a new therapist, but I just didn't feel like that was what I wanted to do. I wasn't going to end therapy with my therapist yet, but I was closer to that. And so I didn't want to go through the process of starting therapy with a new therapist. I said, oh my gosh, and I'm lisping. I just didn't want to start over. So I made the decision to just stop therapy altogether at that point. And I was doing well. I had been with that therapist for 4 years, and I was doing well, especially considering what was going on with me when I first started, which honestly, now that I'm thinking about all this, you guys are probably going to need a lot of background. I don't know how deep I'll be able to get into this, because that whole situation I did want to make a video about specifically, because it is such a big story and such a big part of me. So I'm not going to get into all of that now. So we'll see when I end up being able to tell you guys, but that progress that I made in those 4 months was really big, and I know that I was doing well at that time that I stopped therapy. And so I just feel, these are not good thoughts, but I just feel very weak and I don't know, just like unable, like I can't last that long without therapy. Like that's frustrating. Personally, I don't want to cry. It's just, therapy isn't a bad thing, but it just feels like, why can't I do it on my own, you know? I don't know why I'm crying. I haven't expressed this out loud at all. I haven't even really been thinking about it, like, in my own head. I've kind of just, I mean, I've told myself, like, I need to start looking for a therapist, but I really haven't been, like, you know, how does this make me feel? And, yeah, just, I haven't really thought about it in depth at all until right now. So maybe that's why I'm crying. But I just don't, I wish that I didn't need, I wish that I didn't feel like I needed to go back to a therapist. But of course, I will always recommend therapy and seeking help, seeking assistance. You don't have to be in this like critical state. I think that it's just a good thing to have in general. Like, I don't think there's a negative to therapy for, like, you know, the general population. I don't think there's a downside to therapy. So I always do recommend it. And of course, I'm not going to say something and not go by it as well. Like, I know that therapy is good. I know that I will benefit from therapy. I have benefited from therapy in the past, and it's okay to ask for help. But yeah, I also need to be honest with myself at the very least and, you know, say how it makes me feel having to feeling like I need to go back to therapy. So yeah, that, I guess that's like an update about mental health and therapy. I was gonna make I think that was like probably one of the very, very early videos that I was going to make, which was talking about my therapy journey. I think it's probably after my self-care video, sometime after. I wanted to make a video about my therapy journey, and it was only going to be 3 therapists, but it looks like when I end up doing that video, it'll be 4. I've just been going through so much, and a lot of it, or I guess not really a lot of it, but one of the big things was already around when I had my most recent therapist, the one that was for 4 years. One of the big issues was around when I still had that therapist. So there was some conversations about it, and it was a part of that therapy experience, but it has continued on and gotten worse or just more severe, more impactful in my life. And then on top of that, just a lot of new things that pop up. And the way that my body responds to stress and anxiety is very much physiological, I will feel it physically. It's not like it'll physically manifest stomach aches, headaches. It's not, like it's physical symptoms. It's not all mental. And normally the symptoms will be more physical when it's very bad. If it's like light anxiety or stress, it won't be like, I won't get those physical symptoms. But when I'm like experiencing heavy anxiety or heavy stress, or maybe sometimes even like mild, it will manifest physically. And that alone, like, it can just affect me in what I have to do. Like, if I have a headache all day, it's like, I don't know what a migraine feels like, but it's just very debilitating. Like, my headaches are very debilitating, and I can't focus. I can't look at anything like reading. It's hard to do things when I have that type of headache. I can get nauseous too, which getting nauseous gives me anxiety. So that's just not good, because then I'm like doubly anxious, and the stomach aches. I mean, that's just uncomfortable. I don't like feeling like my stomach is hurting all the time. Those aren't all my physical symptoms, but growing up, especially when I was younger, like, I think those are my main two symptoms. And as I've gotten older, they've gotten more. But yeah, those symptoms have always been with me. I've had to deal with that. But something new that happened is it is the physical symptom reason as to why I started therapy with my most recent therapist. The problem, of course, wasn't that physical symptom. The physical symptom was a result of the problem. But the problems that the physical symptom were causing to me and my life and my health were just horrible. And it was just not okay what was going on. So I needed help. And those symptoms, I worked, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry again. Those symptoms, I worked so, I don't want to cry. Those symptoms I worked so hard on for those 4 years. And I had been working on them even when I was done with therapy. Like, I mean, I had a feeling that it was going to be something that it would be with me for my whole life. But I don't know, I guess, I mean, I would never be ready for it to come back, of course. So I don't know why I had that feeling that it would be something that I would deal with forever, but I'm still like shocked or surprised. That's the same thing as shocked. I just don't know why I feel this way now that it has come back, that it has worsened. Those physical symptoms have worsened again. But I do. It's obviously, it's affecting me. Also, sorry for saying so much. I keep noticing it every time I say it, and I'm telling myself to stop saying that, but I keep saying it. I was about to say it again, but this time I was able to stop myself. So I had a feeling that it was going to be something that I was going to be dealing with for a while. But now that these symptoms, like I said, they were never really gone. I was able to manage them really well, and they would only come out in like certain situations. And it was, I mean, I'm sorry that I can't, like, I mean, I can't go into detail, but I really don't want to. Like, I really want to devote a video all about this. Like I said, it's a part of my story, and it's just a really big thing in my life. And even though it's not a positive thing, I just still feel like it deserves to have that special, place, that separate video where I can talk all about it. So I don't want to talk about it here, but I was able to manage it very well, and it would only come out in certain situations. But now it's not just coming out in certain situations. It's spreading to every situation now, and the symptoms I'm not able to manage them that well anymore. And they're starting to kind of slowly take over. And I don't want to get to that point where I was those years ago, right before I started seeing my most recent therapist. I don't want it to get to that point again. So I know that I need to get help now. I said it again. Sorry. I don't even know what I was trying to say. I know that I need to get help, and I know that I need to go back to therapy in order to get that help. And I know that I am not happy, and I know that I feel like I failed at taking care of myself or something. I don't even know. But I wanted to talk about that. I obviously said that that I hadn't really been thinking about it at all. And that this is basically the first time that I'm actually taking the time to really think and reflect and process everything and how I'm feeling about it. So this is good for me. But yeah, I also I wanted to film a video, and I didn't want to film something that was not as authentic as possible. I guess that is it for this week's video. A lot going on in my mind, but I don't think I can handle talking about that all right now. So like I said, maybe it will come in the next video or sometime down the line. But this is an update and just some real talk. Because life is wild. It just can throw you for a loop. And I think I said this in one of the recent videos that I did on like mental health potentially, but healing is not linear. So I have to remember that, and you have to remember that as well for yourself or for the people that are around you. Just remember that healing is not linear. And even if there are dips, you're still going forward. Even if they're going up and down, you're still going forward. And that is the whole point of this. So thank you for being here. And I hope that you have an amazing day, an amazing week, an amazing month, an amazing year, and an amazing life.